Right now on KCCI 8 News Close-Up, former Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley taking the Democratic competition to task, saying he's in it to win it.
But the party sometimes tries to circle the wagons around the inevitable frontrunner, especially when that frontrunner appears to be shaky. But one thing that happens without fail is that the people of Iowa aren't intimidated by big money or pundits or polls or what people inside Washington are saying is the outcome of this election.
Why O'Malley says Hillary Clinton can be beaten, right now on Close-Up.
This is Iowa's news leader. This is KCCI 8 News Close-Up.
Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us for KCCI 8 News Close-Up. Former Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley continues to poll far behind the top Democrats, Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders. But he says he's okay with that, and that Iowans are just now getting to know him.
I am very clear about my principles.
Long before he found himself on the presidential debate stage,
And now we can call.
Martin O'Malley has been performing on stage with his guitar. The musician turned politician at a young age, taking a semester off from Catholic University to work for Gary Hart's campaign. At age 28, he became a Baltimore city councilman, then went on to become mayor for 8 years, and was named by Time magazine one of America's top 5 big city mayors for cutting the crime rate. In 2007, O'Malley was elected governor of Maryland, serving 2 terms. Now, at age 52, running for president, O'Malley emphasizes raising the minimum wage to $15 per hour.
You want wages to go up? We've got to make it easier for people to join unions and bargain collectively, and we've got to raise wages.
He also says we need to focus on climate change, education, and limiting income disparity. At this roundtable in Des Moines, O'Malley said he would expand access to naturalization and health care for new Americans, as well as protect our border and try to keep immigrant families together. He says the symbol of America is the Statue of Liberty, not a barbed wire fence.
I believe that immigration reform is one of those things we must do in order to get wages to go up again. One of the big drags that you can have on wages is to have an underground economy. So I believe that by passing immigration reform, getting 11 million of our neighbors out of the shadows and onto the books, that can be a help to get wages to go up again for all Americans.
O'Malley told Iowa workers he opposed the Trans-Pacific Partnership from the beginning.
I came out against it 8 months ago because I thought it was not in the best interest of our country. And that's what we need to have in our economic priorities and in our leadership of the office of the president. It should be about us. It should be about our principles as a people and what's best for our economy.
O'Malley and his wife Katie, a district court judge, live in Baltimore with their 4 children. Late last week, Governor O'Malley took time to sit down with me and Des Moines Register political reporter Kathy Obranovich. And right out of the box, we wanted to know what a lot of Iowa Democrats are asking. How does anyone catch up with Hillary Clinton? Good morning. We are here with former Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley. And Governor, we're basically 100 days until the caucuses. You're still polling in the single digits. What do you do to kind of move up and make more of a name for yourself?
Well, we keep campaigning in the Iowa way. Sometimes in these caucuses, I should say all the time, there is a surprise on caucus night. And when we look back over our shoulders and ask ourselves, well, how did that happen? It happens because I've now been to 43 of the 100 counties. I'm meeting with activists. I'm engaging in the 30 or 40 minutes of questions and answers for the solutions to solving our problems as a nation. And I'm pretty excited about where we are, actually. About 8 days ago, at the first debate, there were 5 of us on stage. At the next debate, there will only be 3 of us. And I'm now the only candidate in this race that has elected experience as a chief executive. Actions, not words, actually getting things done that the other candidates can only talk about. So I'm pretty pumped up. True story. You know, when I ran for mayor of Baltimore in 1999, it was not because our city was doing well. No, we had become the most violent, addicted, and abandoned city in America. On the day I announced, we had only 88 days to go, and I was polling at a whopping 7%. But we took our campaign of ideas to the people of our city, and that's what we're doing in this campaign, but to the very, very important people of Iowa who will shape the presidential race once caucus night happens.
Okay, Hillary Clinton is pulling away in the polls right now, at least at this point. And in talking with voters who have listened to you, one of them being my 86-year-old father who lives about 10 miles north of here, they like what they hear. How do you get more people to like you?
Well, I think these debates are helping now that we're finally having them. By this time, 8 years ago, we had had 9 debates. You know, so when President Obama and Secretary Clinton were exchanging ideas and contesting this, we delayed as a party the start of our debates till just about 8 days ago. And that was the first time that most people in the country had an opportunity to see whether or not I actually had the ideas to govern and the courage to lead and move our country forward. And that was sort of the introductory debate. Now, with the Iowa JJ, here in Iowa, we're moving into compare and contrast. And there are a lot of differences between myself and the candidacy I offer and what Senator Sanders and Secretary Clinton have to offer.
Did you miss an opportunity by not offering a sharper contrast with Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders in the last debate? And do you really have to take the gloves off in the next one to make sure that people really understand where the differences are?
Well, it was my decision and our decision as a campaign that in that very first debate, the vast majority of people hadn't heard of me or ever seen me before. And so I needed to introduce myself. But now with the Iowa JJ, Jefferson-Jackson Day dinner, I think we have now arrived, certainly here in Iowa, at the next phase of this campaign, which is compare and contrast. I have the independence to take on the big banks of Wall Street. Secretary Clinton does not. I had the backbone to take on the National Rifle Association and get comprehensive gun safety legislation done. Senator Sanders did not. And so these are the contrasts that will now be drawn in the next debate.
You've complained about the lack of debates. And do you think that the Democratic National Committee has put the fix in for Hillary Clinton by keeping a lid on some of these debates?
Well, I think they tried, and I think it backfired, because that first debate was viewed by more Americans than any other Democratic presidential debate,
Hillary Clinton was widely seen as doing well, though. She should be pulling for more debates.
You would think, wouldn't you? You would think, wouldn't you? So that was the first debate, and now we head into compare and contrast, and I'm looking forward to it. So I do think that the party sometimes tries to circle the wagons around the inevitable front-runner, especially when that front-runner appears to be shaky. But one thing that happens without fail is that the people of Iowa aren't intimidated by big money or pundits or polls or what people inside Washington are saying is the outcome of this election. I think they want choices. I think they want a conversation. I think they want candidates to answer questions, and that's what I intend to do.
Coming up, gun control, and why O'Malley says he wants to do for the nation what he did as governor of Maryland.